Hello friends, welcome to my channel Management Mantra. Today I'm going to cover few topics of managerial economics. You people can see the topics to be discussed today that are number 1 is definition of managerial economics, its nature, its scope, meaning of utility, and the last one is law of diminishing marginal utility. Come to our first topic, that is definition and concept of managerial economics. The study of economic theories, econometric models, and tools of analysis that help the managers in understanding the market behavior for taking business decisions. We can understand it in other and simple words, that is, it helps the producers to make decisions regarding choice of product to produce, market segment to cater, deciding on the price, and strategies for beating competition. Here is a given definition by Mansfield, that is, it is concerned with the application of economic concepts to the problems of formulating decision making. And that's why we call it a conceptual as well as empirical. Now, come to our next point is nature of managerial economy. Number 1 is decision making. Decision making means making any decision related to a business enterprise, which includes production decision, cost decision, plant decision, etc. Number 2 is microeconomic in character. Microeconomic in character means related to a firm, that is, it discusses individual problems or it discusses economic behavior of a firm only. Number 3 is goal oriented, which means it focuses on its specific goal. For example, it concentrates on optimum utilization of resources for the goal of profit maximization. Last one is conceptual as well as empirical, which means it is concerned with the application of the concepts, theories, tools, and methodologies to solve practical problems in business. Our next point is scope of managerial economics. Scope of managerial economics, number 1 is demand analysis forecasting. It means for making choice of businesses, that is what to produce, how much to produce, and how to produce. Second one is cost analysis, that is choosing the factors of production which lowers the cost. Third one is pricing theories, means to decide price in the market. Next is profit analysis. Profit analysis in the sense to find break-even point. Now question arises, what is break-even point? Break-even point is where gains is equal to losses. Next is capital budgeting. Capital budgeting means for investment decisions. Last one is business environment, that is impact of macro environment on a firm. Our next topic is functions of managerial economics. Number 1 is identifying business problems related to resource allocation. Now, what is resource allocation? Resource allocation is the process of assigning and managing assets in a manner that supports an organization's strategic goals. It includes managing tangible assets, resource utilizing, etc. Second one is pricing problem, such as how to decide price of a product depending on market growth, life cycle of product, and various strategies like skimming, penetration, etc. Third one is inventory and queuing problem. The management is faced with the problem of choosing a combination of controllable quantities that minimizes loss resulting from the delay of some. For example, if there is waiting line of demands, inventory state tends to be higher than necessary. Our last point is investment problem. What is investment problem? An investment is an asset or item that is purchased with the hope that it will generate income. So, investment problem is how to invest, where to invest, and how much to invest. Our next topic is utility. What is utility? Utility of something is its usefulness. It is the basis for demand of a commodity by an individual. There are two types of utility. Number one is product utility, and second one is consumer's utility. Product utility is the usefulness of a product which satisfies the requirement of a consumer. What is consumer utility? It is a psychological feeling of pleasure from its consumption to a consumer. It is a post consumption phenomenon. It is a subjective concept which depends totally on the consumer who consumes it, because product has utility to actual consumers only. For example, meat has no utility to vegetarians. Utility varies from time to time. For example, woolens have utility in winters and no utility in summers. Now, our next point is total utility. Summation of the utilities derived by a consumer from the various units of good at a point or over a period of time is total utility. Marginal utility. Marginal utility may be defined as the addition of an extra utility to the total utility resulting from the consumption of one additional unit. Thus, utility derived from last unit consumed can be measured by change in total utility. It is proposed by Alfred Marshall. We can calculate marginal utility with this given formula, that is, marginal utility of nth unit is equal to total utility of n minus total utility n minus 1, or change in total utility of nth unit divided by change in marginal utility of nth unit. This was all about utility. Next topic is law of diminishing marginal utility. The law of diminishing marginal utility states that all else equal, as consumption increases, the marginal utility derived from each additional unit declines. In other and simple words, it states that the marginal utility of a good diminishes as an individual consumes more and more unit of a good. The extra utility of satisfaction that he derives from an extra unit consumed goes on falling. It is also called as the Gaussian's first law, which is proposed by Hermann Hendrik in 1854. We can conclude it with the help of this graph. You can see it is only the marginal utility that declines, not the total utility, which is increasing but at a decreasing rate. As an individual consumes more and more unit of goods, intensity of his wants for goods goes on falling, and at a point is reached where the individual no longer wants any more units of the goods. That is when saturation point is reached. In the graph you can see the point C, which is saturation point. Marginal utility of a good becomes zero, or afterwards it can be negative, as shown in the graph. Law of diminishing marginal utility is one of the most important cause for the demand curve to slopes downward. Thank you. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.